we are going to discuss about state level SSLC preparatory examination, February 2022. First language, English. As you all know, our question paper is for 100 mark. So directly I am moving on to the first question. 4 alternatives are given for each of the following questions or incomplete statements. Only one of them is correct or most appropriate. Choose the correct alternative and write the complete answer along with its letter of alphabet. Each question carries 1 mark and total 6 questions are there. The first question, they loved each other very much. The appropriate question tag to be added is did they, didn't they, hadn't they and don't they. So here the correct answer is option B, didn't they. So you all know we have to find out the auxiliary verb for question tag, but here we don't have any auxiliary verb. So what we have to use? Yes, we have to use the do forms. So here the answer is didn't they. Moving on to the next question. Joshua plays dash piano well. So his parents bought him dash new piano. The appropriate article to be filled in the blanks are the, a, and the, and the, and a, the. So here the answer is option A, the, a. Moving on to the next question. The bird tried to pull the reluctant sun out of the remote horizon. The figure of speech used here is simile, synecdoche, metaphor and personification. So here the answer is option D, personification. Moving on to the next question. She often quotes Shakespeare. The correct preposition to be filled in the blank is at, from, since, by. So here the answer is option B, from. Moving on to the next question. The fruits were fresh but the cream was dash. The blank to be filled with the antonym of the underlined word is, antonym means opposite word. Option A, dirty, B, bad, C, pale and D, stale. So here the answer is option D, stale. Moving on to the next question. The car had nobody in it but the engine. The correct form of the verb to be filled in the blank is was running, were running, ran and had run. So here the answer is option A, was running. So moving on to the second main. Observe the relationship in the first pair of words and complete the second pair accordingly in the following. Option A is ophthalmologist and skin. The person who is treating the skin problems, what we will call is, we will call him as dermatologist. Dermatologist. Yes, and the next one, no, new, cry. What is the past tense of cry? Yes, it's cried. And the next one, some, night. Yes, so here we have to fill the homophone. What is the homophone of night? Yes, N-I-G-H-T, night. Same pronunciation and different spelling. And the next one, birds, flock and stones. So here the collective noun of stone, it's heap, H-E-A-P, heap. Moving on to the next question. Third one, rewrite as directed. Change the voice of sentence. They had won the match. So here the answer is the match had been won by them. So when we are converting active voice to passive voice, we have to see the sentence structure. What is the normal sentence structure? Subject plus verb plus object. So when we are changing to passive voice, the subject and object will interchange and the verb will remain the same. So here the answer is the match had been won by them. 12th question. Frame a question to get underlined word as answer. In 1854, Pasteur was appointed as the head of a college of science at Lille. So here the underlined word is in 1854. When did Pasteur appointed as head of a college of science at Lille? What is the answer? Yes, when did Pasteur appointed as head of a college of science at Lille? So we will get the answer as in 1854. Moving on to the next question. Combine the sentences by using neither nor. Here the sentence, she is not in the kitchen, she is not in the drawing room. So what will be the answer? She is neither in the kitchen nor in the drawing room. Next I am moving on to the fourth main. answer the following questions in a sentence each. 4 questions are there, each question is carrying 1 mark. What are the 2 sources of water mentioned in the prose? The elixir of life. The 2 sources of water are rain and snowfall. The next question, how can does action be mechanical according to Gandhiji? An act can be mechanical when it is done without any intention. That we will call it as mechanical action. And the next question, why did Annie write, I feel like a songbird whose wings have? Annie has no one other than her diary to share her fear, anger, sadness and hope or any other feelings. That's why she wrote like that. So when they were in Annexi, she don't have any friends there. So she considered or she's considering herself as or she is feeling herself as a songbird whose wings have brutally cut. So the next question, she would not know her little son. Why is the poet John Masefield say this? Because he is grown and young man already. If the mother come out of the grave, she cannot recognize her son. So here the poet is telling that she would not. If the mother come out also, she would not know her little son. Why? Because he grown up a lot. So that's why the poet is telling that if she come out of the graveyard also, she cannot recognize her son. So next fifth main, answer the following questions in 2 to 3 sentences each. 7 questions are there, each question is carrying 2 marks. The first question, how are the results different in 2 instances in the poem A Poisonry? So in the poem A Poisonry, the poet is expressing about 2 or poet is explaining about 2 instances. The first one is the suppression of anger and the next one is expression of anger. So the expression of anger in the first instance relieves the person of all feelings. So when we were expressing our anger, the person will get full relief. And whereas suppression, when we are suppressing our anger, in the second instance, poison him all the more because it grows. So when we were suppressing our anger, day by day, it will start to grow and it will be a poison. Moving on to the next question. How was the majestic neck of the Saurus crane humbled by the hunters? When it fell down dead, the hunter, without paying any attention to the beauty that was lost through his action, casually picked up the bird, hands and jaws, crumpled it like a piece of paper and threw it into his bag without a second look at it. In this manner, the majestic neck was humbled the hunter. Moving on to the next question. How do men triumph over women still according to the poet John Masefield? The poet feels sad that men consider themselves superior to women and ill-treat them. They stamp out the independence and free of women and behave in insolent and arrogant manner with them. The next question. How was the Marian going to identify Salt, his messenger? Marian could identify Galtier's messenger when he kissed her hand and asked for the pie. So when the messenger was coming to home, he will kiss her hands. To that way, she is going to identify the Galtier's messenger. Next question. How do the brave Greeks blind the Cyclops? After drinking the strong wine, the giant fell unconscious. Then the 4 men who were instructed earlier by Ulysses heated the stake and hoed and carried it with the difficulty. Then they pierced it on the eyes of the cannibal. Thus the brave Greeks blinded the monster. So after drinking the strong wine, the wine was very strong. After that, he is in unconscious mind. So at that time, the men and with the Ulysses, with the help of his men, he heated the stake and it carried with a very difficulty and it pierced on the eyes of the Polyphemus. The next question. How and why did Indra approach Karna? Indra foresaw that a supreme contest was inevitable between his son Arjuna and Karna. So he took the form of a poor Brahmana and came begging to Karna, asking him for his earrings and armor. So Karna was known for this charity, give it to him. So Indra, he came in the appearance of the poor Brahmana and he asked for Karna's earrings and armor. Without any hesitation, Karna, he gave the earrings to him. So he was very happy. So he was known for his charity and give it to him. The next question. 24. Describe the girl's behavior before giving and after receiving the picture from the ideal man. Earlier, her movement on before giving the picture, her movement on the road was like the rapid movement of a skilled hand on the strings of guitar. But after she saw the painted picture, her hurrying feet were a little less hurried. So before giving that, she was doing all her work properly, and she was very enthusiastically doing each and every work, and she was very fast in her walking. And but after receiving that, her hurrying feet became less hurried, and earlier she would be busy in her work, never bothered about her dressing. But after that, she got a picture. She spent a lot of time every day interesting, and time slipped by unutilized, and much work was left unfinished. So after that, she started to concentrate on her hair and on that picture. So her almost all her work was left unfinished. Next question, rewrite as directed. 25th, change the following sentence to the other two degrees of comparison. I have never seen so beautiful diamond as this. As we all know, we have three kinds of degrees of comparison: positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. And here the question is in positive degree. I have never seen so beautiful diamond as this. So we have to convert to next two degrees. The diamond is more beautiful than most other diamonds, and this is one of the most beautiful diamonds. Moving on to the next question. Change the following sentence to reported speech. The teacher said to the students, work hard and be regular in your studies. Answer. The teacher advised the students to work hard and be regular in their studies. Combine the sentence using as soon as, no sooner than. The policeman saw the thief, he ran after the thief. So the answer here is as soon as the policeman saw the thief, he ran after the thief. No sooner did the policeman see the thief than he ran after him. The next question, 7th main. Answer the following questions in 5 to 6 sentences each. 6 questions are there, each question is carrying 3 marks. Describe how was Karna introduced to the assembly by the writer. Suddenly, there was a sound made by the clapping of mighty arms in challenge at the entrance of the arena, which sounded loud and compelling, like thunder. People saw a godlike youth from whom light and power seemed to emanate enter the arena. Gesturing a negligent salute to Drona and Kripacharya, the youth strode up to Arjuna. 29th question. Give instances to show that the narrator in the train tried his best to impress the girl that he was normal sighted, which means not blind. Answer. The narrator did not reveal his blindness to the girl. When the girl spoke of the beauty of Missouri, he explained about the beauty of Missouri, remembering his memories. He said that the girl had an interesting face. He asked her to look out of the window and to watch the moving trees and other beautiful things. Next question. How does the poet describe the appearance and the effect of the huge peak that disturbed the boy? Answer. The mountain looks like a living being. It has its own will and power. The black peak looks horrible for him. It looks like it was following him with huge step. The mountain, according to Wordsworth, was not a passive structure made of rocks or stone. It was like a living being, a different form of living beings. It had been over his thoughts by days and dreams by night. For many days he was tormented by the memory and solitude. Even though he realized it's only an optical illusion that the mountain was chasing him, it weighed heavy on his unconsciousness, and he realized that the presence of beings unknown and unfathomable to him. For a long time, no other place in images came into his mind. Next question. How did Elaine expressed a love towards Lochinvar, and why does she shed a tear? Elaine kissed at the goblet of wine that he held in his hand, and she looked down to blush and looked up to sigh with a smile. On her lip there were tears in her eyes. Thus she expressed her love for Lochinvar. She was totally unhappy in that moment because he was marrying with another person. That's why she had tears in her eyes. Moving on to the next question, question number 32. What did Drona ask from Bhattu as a recompense, and why? How did he bless Bhattu at the end? Drona seek right hand thumb from Bhattu because Drona wanted to keep up the promise he had made to Arjuna. For this sacrifice, Drona blessed Pattu as his name and fame can reach the whole world, and people can link his name with self-help, truth, and modesty. Actually, Dronacharya keep up a promise to Arjuna, which means he will keep Arjuna as the best in this world. Means in archery, no one will come, no one will cross Arjuna in archery. But after that, Drona realized that Batu is more or well versed in archery. He may cross the capacity, or he may cross Arjuna. So that reason he asked the right hand thumb. What factors added to the soil erosion of precious soil according to C.V. Raman? Soil erosion is the biggest problem in agriculture. The main factors for this problem are as follows. Heavy rain is the main reason for soil erosion. If rains heavily, the top layer of the soil is washed away. And second one, slope of the land, deforestation or cutting of trees. And the next one, absence of chicks or to the rapid flow of water is another main reason. The next question, how did the man spend his time on the earth and in the workers' paradise? On the earth, the man had never believed in mere utility. He had no useful work, he indulged in mad whims. He painted and made little pieces of sculptures, men, women, and castles. Thus, he wasted his time on all useless and needless things. He spent his earth life in useless work. In the workers' paradise, how he has spent his time. When he entered workers' paradise, he longed in the streets absently and jostled the hurrying men. He lay in the green meadows or close to the fast flowing stream. On to the eighth main, explain with reference to the context. There are 5 questions. Each question carries 3 marks. Please God, make him think I'm still pretty. This line has been taken from the lesson The Gift of Maggie, written by O. Henry. So this is the lines told by Della. Della cut her most precious possession, her long and beautiful hair, and sold it for $21 to buy a platinum fob chain for Jim's watch, because she couldn't buy anything worthwhile as Christmas present for Jim with $1.87 that she had collected. At home, she repaired the ravages of her remaining hair that made her looks like a truant schoolboy. When she heard Jim's steps on the stair, she turned white and said this prayer. Question number 35. No, I shall draw a picture on your picture. This line has been taken from the lesson A Wrong Man in Workers' Paradise, written by Rabindranath Tagore. The idle man said the above words to the girl. She asked for one of her picture, one that she can spare for him. She asked him the purpose of asking the picture, whether to draw water from the trend or for some other purpose. That moment the man said above words. So actually here 2 words are the picture and picture. Don't get confused. PITCHER, picture means sport, and picture means our normal drawing picture. Question number 36. If you can cure animals, you can cure my son. These lines are taken from the lesson Louis Pasteur, Conqueror of Disease. So one day in Paris, a woman came to him with her son. The son was covered with bite from a mad dog. So she said to Pastor, if you can cure animals, you can cure my son. Question number 37. Teach him if you can the wonder of books. These lines have taken from the poem Abraham Lincoln Letter to His Son's Teacher. The poet of the poem is the Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln requests his son's teacher to teach him the value of life so that he can become a fine person and citizen. The teacher should teach him the wonder of books, and also you should give him quite time to think about the mysteries and wonders of nature, the bird in the sky, the breeze in the sun, and the flowers on a green hillside. Question number 38. And here I learn all by myself. Play. This line has been taken from the poem Batu, written by Thorudat, addressed by Batu or Egalavya to his teacher. Egalavya or Batu, the humble forest youth, went to the great teacher and warrior Dronacharya to learn the science of archery. But he was rejected and humiliated by him. Then Batu made a statue of Dronacharya and practiced archery in front of him, ultimately become a self-taught master archer. Batu revealed all this to Drona when they inquired about him. Next poem. Quote from the memory. Question number 9. Quote from the memory. One poem you have to write here. So the question is carrying 4 marks. So here you have two poems. Options are there. One is Vachana and the next one is Poison Tree. So it's your wish which one you want, you can write that one. Answer the following questions in 8 to 8 sentences each. First question, 14th one. How does the poet bring out the agony and desperation of the female crane in the poem? When the hunter shot down the maid with the female bird had completely become heartbroken and it circled the sky and cried a lot. As soon as the bird hunter is left the place by putting the dead body of the male bird in their coarse washing bag, she returned to the death place and collected all the blood-stained feathers and tried to hatch them into a small chick. It was hoping to bring the life of male bird back. And when a huge wave came to carry her towards her partner, she lost her life to meet him in her death. This action of the female bird shows the agony and the grief in its heart. The female bird shows her life is greater than the human's words and the legend and the fable stories. Next question. How did Gandhiji explain the difference between intentional act and mechanical act with example? An action done like a machine with no moral thought is a mechanical action, but an action done with a sense of duty and moral thought is intentional act. For example, it may be a moral of king to pardon culprit, but the messenger bearing the order of the pardon plays only a mechanical part in the king's moral act. But if the messenger were to bear the king's order considering it to be his own duty, his action would be moral one, and this can be called as an intentional action. Moving on to the next question. Describe the life of Annie in Annexy according to her diary. She wrote the life and problem they had faced in Annexy. She recorded all her thoughts and feelings. Annie has no one other than her diary to share her fear, anger and sadness and hope or any other feeling. So she felt like a caged bird. She recorded her adolescent's life with its innocence in a harsh world. She completed herself to a songbird whose wings have torn and trying to fly in darkness. She expressed her trust towards her father. She expressed her sadness towards her mother because she feels her mother does not understand her. She also wrote about her first kiss exchange with Vanden's 17 years old son. Moving on to the next question, 42 question number. What were the most precious possession of Jim and Della and how does the author describe them? The most precious possession of Jim was the gold watch that had been his father's and his grandfather's before him. Della's possession was her long rippling, shining hair that fell down like a cascade of brown waters. The writer compares the Della's hair to Queen Sheba's jewels because Della was proud about the valued her hair which was long and beautiful that reached below her knee and shining like the brown waters. She felt that her hair was more precious than Queen Sheba's jewel, and the writer compared Jim's watch to King Solomon's treasure. If King Solomon had been the janitor with all his treasures piled up in the basement, Jim would have pulled out his watch every time he passed just to see him pluck at his beard with envy. Next question. Explain the discovery of pasteurization with an example. Pasteurization is a process by which wine or milk or any other liquid will, when heated to a temperature of 50 to 60 degree centigrade, the germs were made harmless. It means that liquid became pure without any germs. That is called as pasteurization. Pasteurized milk is a milk which had been created in this way and been sealed to prevent more germs from entering. So moving on to the next main. 11th main. Read the following passage and carefully and answer the questions given below. So you have to read the passage and you will get a question here last. So you have to read and understand the paragraph at first and you have to give answer to these questions. And the next question. Write an essay about 80 to 20 sentences on any one of the following topic. You have to write an essay about any one of the topic. Question is carrying 5 marks. So here the topics are cyclone and its impact on environment and online versus and offline classes. So both the topics are very easy. Online classes and offline classes you people you people only experienced how is your online class and how was your offline class, everything you know, and cyclone and how cyclone will impact in our environment. You can read how it's coming, and after coming the cyclone we will lose our buildings, house, and we will lose so many things, buildings, our house, and our nature only. It will wash out, the cyclone will wash out each and everything in our world or in our nature. So moving on to the next question. Imagine you are Shreya or Shreyas of Government High School Tumkur. You have, so the first question, you have returned from a holiday after visiting the hill station. So in your holiday time you have visited a hill station, and write a letter to your friend mentioning what you have found most exciting about that place and why you consider it an ideal place for a vacation. So why you went to that place, as and why you are telling, or what are the main things made you happy there. About that you have to write a letter to your friend. And the next question, imagine you are Aishwarya or Ayush of Government High School Mysore. Write a letter to the corporate of your ward drawing his attention to the urgent need for the construction of a well occupied playground in your ward. So you have to write a letter to your corporator about your about your urgency in the well occupied playground. You need a well occupied playground in your area. So for that reason you have to write a letter to the corporated. So when you are writing the formal letter as well as the informal writer, all the content should come in the left side. According to the new letter format, everything will come in the left side. So in the formal letter, we need first, from, then to, subject, date, and the body of the letter, and at last the conclusion. So this is all about this question paper. I hope you enjoyed a lot from the, you got a good information from this question paper and from this video. Thank you so much, and all the best students. Thank you. Have a nice day.